This is going to sound really strange, but it appears that Donald Trump doesn't know the difference between life insurance and health insurance and mistakenly believes that sometimes health insurance costs only $1 a month. This isn't the most shocking part of that interview that Trump gave last week to the New York Times, but I realized when I was checking out transcripts of the entire thing, Trump doesn't seem to know the difference between health insurance, which covers medical services, and life insurance, which pays beneficiaries when you die. Here's a quote from Donald Trump from this interview, and it is bizarre. Trump said, quote, "So pre-existing conditions are a tough deal because you're basically saying from the moment the insurance, you're 21 years old, you start working and you're paying $12 a year for insurance. And by the time you're 70, you get a nice plan. Here's something where you walk up and say, I want my insurance. It's a very tough deal, but it is something that we're doing a good job of." Okay, so it's almost completely unintelligible, but there's a couple things in there that we can comment on. Trump talks about $12 a year for insurance or $1 a month. It seems he's talking about term life insurance, okay? Sometimes when you watch TV, you'll see these commercials offering term life insurance for $1 a month or some really cheap amount. And in fact, Gerber advertises for life insurance for babies on Fox News for really, really cheap. So maybe Trump actually got this idea from Fox News, didn't realize that life insurance isn't the same thing as health insurance. What Trump is referring to there, saying by the time you're 70, you get a nice plan. Here's something where you walk up and say, I want my insurance. That refers to a product called whole life insurance, which has what's called a cash value. That cash value accrues over time. And eventually, if you're in a whole life plan for a very long time, decades typically, you can cash in the policy for quite a bit of money relative to what you originally paid in. But also, whole life insurance isn't the type that costs $1 a month. The $1 a month stuff is term life insurance. But the bigger picture is term life insurance and whole life insurance. Neither is health insurance, which is what Donald Trump seems to be confused about. There isn't health insurance for $1 a month in the market. The Kaiser Family Foundation estimates that the average American yearly premium for a sort of middle of the road individual plan offered through the Obamacare exchanges in 2016 was about $4,500 per year, or just under $400 a month. This is red alert level incompetence, Pat. The person who ran a presidential campaign claiming that he would fix healthcare for the entire country doesn't realize the difference between term life insurance he sees advertised on TV and health insurance.
I guess you do have to give him a pass, though, because Donald Trump just recently found out that healthcare is a complicated issue. It doesn't make too much sense to me. How could you, even if you're in your billionaire bubble, think that healthcare could cost someone only $12 a year when it's the top reason for bankruptcies in the United States, when we're having such a vigorous debate over this, and when people are going to needlessly die if the ACA was repealed? There's just no way.
What occurred to me was, if you're Trump and you're this billionaire, right, and you've been eating out of a silver spoon your entire life, maybe for you, you don't even understand, like, maybe $12 a year and $4,500 a year to Trump are basically the same thing. Yep. Like, for him, it's like, oh, yeah, people are up in arms because it's a lot of money for them. And maybe to Trump, hearing that something is $12 a year sounds like not very much. And hearing that something is $4,500 a year also doesn't sound like very much. And he just genuinely has no idea what this stuff costs.
Still, though, I think you understand that if the minimum wage is $7.25 in the entire country, then people can afford health insurance for the entire year over just a couple hours of work.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
If you were Trump and you thought people could get health insurance for $1 a month, you'd probably be wondering why this entire debate is even such a big debate, which might explain why he doesn't seem to care about it and it hasn't happened, and he just seems to offhandedly say, oh, we'll just do this or we'll do that. It doesn't really matter in the end.
It makes me think that Donald Trump was not involved in the entire healthcare process as he claimed.
Yeah, I think that is suspect to say that he's been involved all the way when he came. How are you involved in the creation of something like the American Health Care Act to whatever degree he was involved? And even if it was just meetings with senators and members of the House of Representatives, and end up thinking that you might be able to get health care for $12 a year. I mean, it just does not compute to me. And what we really have to think about is all those declarations Trump made about health care, like the infamous Leslie Stahl 60 Minutes interview when he talked about all the things he was going to do. he might have been talking about life insurance the entire time. Like all of those comments might never have been about health insurance. They might always have been about life insurance. I guess at this point, we don't really know.